Hi guys, and welcome to this video where I'm going to go through the main modes for the Inkee Falcon Plus gimbal because you may find them a little bit confusing. Okay, let's start the video. Alright, so at the back of the gimbal you'll have the mode button, the button marked with an M, and you also have the series of lights here. So when you switch the gimbal on, it's going to start off in the PF mode. So what exactly is the PF mode? Well, PF stands for pan follow. So when you have a camera and you move it to the left or to the right with a rotation, that is called a panning motion. So basically like that, or like that. So pan follow will do exactly that. It's going to follow you as you twist the camera to the left or to the right. But if you try and move the camera up and down, I'm just going to leave the stand just for a minute. If you move the camera up or down like this, notice that the camera remains at the same level. It's not actually following my movements up or down. So up and then down. It's from keeping the camera level. And the same thing if I try and rotate the handle like this, it's going to keep the camera in a level position. So the only movement it's going to be following is the horizontal axis, like so, left and to the right, and hence why it's called pan follow. Okay, so let's move to the next mode. Let me just press the M button. And we are now in the HL mode, which is horizontal lock. So what does this mode do? Well, it does something very similar to the previous mode. If I turn it to the left or to the right, it's going to follow the panning motion. It's also going to follow the movement up and down. So that is a difference between this mode and the previous mode. Look, if I move it up, the camera is now pointing up. If I now point downwards, the camera will follow the action down. However, in this mode, it's going to keep the camera level if I try and turn the gimbal like so. And that's why it's called horizontal lock, because it's still locking it in a horizontal position when I try and rotate the camera like this. Okay, now let's move on to the next mode. And if I bring the gimbal around here, and I'm going to press the M button again, we are now in FPV mode, which is the full motion, allowing us to move in all directions. So what I mean by that, well, that gives you full control. So if you turn left or you turn right, up or down, the camera is going to follow those actions, but this time it's also going to rotate if I turn the gimbal like so. So that basically gives you the full motion of all three axes simultaneously. Alright, so that is the three main modes, and then we also have a lock mode or a gimbal lock mode. And to do that, you need to press and hold the trigger on the front like so. But to do that, before you do, you need to make sure you are in either the PF mode or the HL mode. So I'm currently in the FPV. So if I now press the M button, I am now on PF. And then if I press the trigger and hold it in, notice on my gimbal here, all the lights are now on. So that means I am in a global lock mode on my gimbal. So what happens now is while I'm pressing it, the camera is going to stay locked at the position where I pressed the trigger. So it's currently looking this direction. So it doesn't matter if I rotate the gimbal like this, or I try and pan it, or I go up and down, it's going to be continue looking in that one direction. Of course, to get rid of that mode, I just need to release the trigger, and then the camera will continue to go back to the normal mode. If I want to bring the camera back to a normal front position, because it's now slightly twisted, I just double click the trigger twice, and now it's been reset back to its normal default position. So let's just do that lock mode one more time. So I'm going to hold the trigger button in. I can then move the handle in any way I like. So I'm going to try and pan it, go up and go down, and notice the camera is now in a locked position. Let's just let go, and we can just reset the camera back to normal again. So that is the global lock mode. Now there are two more modes and they are very specialist. One is to put the camera into a vertical position if you like doing things like Instagram or TikTok and things like that. The way to do that is to make sure you are in PF mode and then make the gimbal horizontal like so, so you're in a sort of torch position as they call it. And then you can double click the M button twice and then the camera will spin into a vertical position. And that means you can then start to make horizontal, vertical movies like so. It doesn't give you that much movement of course, but if you want to do those sort of videos then you can. Okay, the next mode to show you is called the Inception mode, and we can do that while we are in the horizontal position. So to enter that mode you just need to double click the M button again while you're in a vertical position. You'll notice the camera moves slightly, and then we can use the joystick left or right, and if we hold it down, notice the camera is now rotating. So that gives you the ability to do like a 360-degree spin if you want to. And of course, you can always push forward with the camera like that. And you can go back the other way, of course. Alright, let's now exit out of the horizontal mode. And to do that, all we need to do is just bring the gimbal up and then press the M button. And we are now back to normal again. In this video, we've seen all the three main modes, the PF, the HL and the FPV mode, plus the gimbal lock mode, and also the two specialist modes. Alright guys, I hope you found that little quick tutorial on the gimbal modes quite useful. If you do, of course, I'd appreciate you if you like the video and subscribe and do all those good things. Alright, take care and see you soon.